Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now it's going to be an album review, and today I'm going to be looking at this album here by Paul McCartney and Wings. This is Band on the Run. So basically in this video I'm going to show the vinyl, show some other bits and bobs like CD and a couple of singles, and then also go over all of these album tracks as well. So this was Paul McCartney's fifth studio album after the breakup of the Beatles, released in December 1973. This album had a very troublesome recording history. Before it was made, before they started work on it, two members of Wings decided to leave the band, Henry McCulloch and Denny Sywell. They decided that they didn't want to be part of Wings anymore, and I'm kind of pleased, because I feel that they were the weakest Wings lineup, the first one with Henry McCulloch and Denny Sywell. But anyway, they decided that they were going to leave. They probably because McCartney had arranged to record this album in Nigeria, and they probably couldn't be bothered with that, so they just quit the band. But yeah, recorded in Nigeria though, where it was we had a quite difficult time though, because the studio, what they used was very lacking in facilities. It was some photos what you get with the album, and I show them a bit later, and that just shows to me the studio has nothing compared with what McCartney would have been used to using. And also Paul and Linda as well, they were mugged while they were in while they were in Lagos. They had the demo tapes stolen from them, and but despite all this, they did manage to create a really great album here. And another thing as well to note is although this was recorded in Africa, it really doesn't have an African sound in it, influence at all. It's not like Paul Simon's Graceland, where he was working with the African musicians. And basically just Wings, the three of them, Paul, Linda and Denny, just working on it by themselves, and they just so happen to be in Africa. So it really doesn't have an African sound in it at all, because I suppose a lot of the stuff was done in Africa, but then they went back to London to polish it up and record a couple of more tracks as well. So when this was released, this got very good critical reviews. It's and after years of poor ones, this album done a lot to restore McCartney's legacy. Because although the albums have been big sellers, Ram and McCartney being #1 albums, critically they have been disasters. I mean, because a lot of them they blamed McCartney for the breakup of the Beatles, but certainly this album here done loads to restore his his reputation. This is also McCartney's biggest selling album, although it wasn't actually, surprisingly, wasn't a huge seller when it was first released. It was only about 6 months after it was first issued that it became the huge album what it became. Because it was the best-selling album in 1974 in America and Australia, and also spent 7 weeks at #1 in the UK in July 1974. So that's 6 months after the album was actually put out. I'd also go on to sell 6 million copies worldwide. So that's a hugely successful album, this, which kind of ironic, because McCartney done next to no promotion for this. I mean, he wasn't touring when it was put out. He done no TV appearances, no TV appearances, any interviews what I know of. It was all down to the record company really pushing this album here, releasing singles from it, and really getting it noticed and out there, and it certainly was a huge success for McCartney, and made Wings one of the 70s best-selling acts. So so I'll now show a few wee bits and bobs that I've got to go along with the album here. I haven't got too much here though, but I have got a single what was released before the album, what was not included on the British version of the album. This is Hell on Wheels here, and this was included on the American version of the album, but isn't on like the standard British one, which is now like the properly which is now like the standard version. So Hell on Wheels is like a fun sort of like driving song. McCartney like influenced by like the sort of like American Route 66 or driving songs. McCartney thought he'd do one on like influenced by his journey from from Scotland, go down to London, down like the M6. So so that's what like this song is about. Like it's a fun song, but like certainly not like one of like, my favourites. And I'm glad that it was like left like off the album, because I do think that the album is stronger without it. On the B-side to this, we have a song "Country Dreamer" here, and this is like a decent track, but it really is like B-side material. That it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be like one like the stronger tracks, like if it was like on like the album. And I believe this was like a leftover from Redwood Speedway as well. So that was this single here, and I believe this was a top 10 hit like in like America, but not too sure what it got to in like the UK. Like I'm sure it was a top 20 hit or something, but certainly it's not one of his most well-known songs. It's not like one of his like most well-remembered songs. We also have the CD edition here. This is from the McCartney Archive collection from 2010. This one was put out. I've just got the standard one CD version CD in the CD player. They also done one with this album here. We had a bonus CD plus the DVD included with this one here. Like they never done that with any of the other archive ones. Like all the other DVDs for those were included in like the big box sets, but for this one here, they decided to put the DVD in with like the 2 CD edition. So anyway, for some reason, like I never got that one. Like I just got like the standard edition here. Probably not gonna get like the booklet with this album here, because as I have said before, like I already know a lot about like the actual background to the album, about like them recording in Lagos and everything, and I'd rather get like the McCartney 2 one even, because I'm more interested in like that period of time. But I'm wandering off topic now. There's the CD, here's the vinyl. So there's the spine, if you can make it out, and there's the back cover. I do really like the back cover of this here. And yeah, so we also have the poster in here. So this is what I was talking about here with the recording studio, what like they were working in here. Very basic facilities they as here. So there's just a few wee pictures of them working away. Angles that's upside down. Let's see. Yeah, so there's like the recording studio there, all taken in back in Africa. So, and then we have the vinyl itself here. So another picture and lyrics on the other side here, and then we have the label here. Now I really do like the label with this one here. One of my favourites there. So now I will go on with reviewing all of the album's songs. So it opens up with Band on the Run, the title track, and this is a classic song where I never tire of hearing. It's just a fantastic song. It goes through like different sections, different stages, but doesn't feel like it was like just like stitched together from different songs. Cause this is something what McCartney does like a lot, like in like his career, like Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, Little Lamb Dragonfly, Pounding Sinking. There's loads like of examples where we have really great tracks sort of made up of like little like sections of songs. Like You Never Give Me Money from the Beatles is like another one, but this certainly like doesn't feel like one, kind of, because it's all tied in like with like the lyrical that theme like of like being free and like on the run and like that sort of thing. Love the different sections. Starts off with like slow like introduction, then goes into like sort of like funky harder rock middle bit, and then like country rock, like acoustic guitar for like the main for the main part of the song. This was issued as a single in June 1974, got to number 3 in the UK and number 1 in America. Following that is Jet, which is another classic song, great rocker. Lyrics on this one though are a bit like that don't make that much sense, to be honest. But that doesn't matter like at all, because it's just such a great song. And apparently though, Jet was a pony that Paul and Linda owned. So although this song here though was one where I'd say about 4 years ago was one was one where I was sort of like almost like fed up with hearing that. It was one where I was like, nah, like don't really want like I want to listen to that one again. But now but now for some reason I just love that track, probably just because it is a bloody great song. So right, yeah. So this was also a single from the album. Got to number 7 in both the UK and like America. The singles though on this album here, though, were issued by Capitol Records. Because like McCartney, like he left like them to do like a lot of like promotion for this album because he done like next to no promotion like for this. Like he wasn't touring and I don't think he'd done like any television appearances like or interviews. So it is like ironic how like it actually sold like that well. But it was like the record company like who like were issuing these singles because McCartney didn't want like any singles from this album at all. But wisely they did put out the singles and it became this huge selling album. So then we go on with Bluebird, which is a really nice softer song, softer direction we're going in now. Love the sax solo played by saxophone solo played by Harry Casey. Apparently done it in like one take, just like absolutely fantastic. Just like a lovely sweet little song. Then I have Mrs. Vanderbilt, which picks up the pace again. Good thing with this one though is like I love the bass on this song. Like the bass the way it just pumps through is like just fantastic bass line on this one. And like another finely crafted song. Great concert number this as well. Like when I saw him in 2010, he done this one and like it was absolutely fantastic. Although probably like half the crowd like didn't know it, it was still like a great great song. Then I have side 1 closes with Let Me Roll It, which is that riff is just like very absolutely killer. It's just fantastic. Very bad arrangement on this, so very like raw. I kind of get the feeling that he was sort of like copying like what like John Lennon was doing, like a like Plastic Ono Band, like trying to get like the same. Not copying, but like being like influenced, and like trying to get like the same sort of sound. What John Lennon had like on like that album, and it works really well. Side 2 opens with Pneumonia, I think I'm saying that right, and which is another acoustic song, really good. Lyrics on this one here sort of deal with not complaining during like times of difficulty, not to do that, and fantastic song. Then have No Words, which a lot of people would say this is like a throwaway track, slightly filler, but I absolutely love this one. This was co-wrote with Denny Lane, like the first one, what like they wrote together, and just a fantastic song. I just wish that like it was a bit longer, to be honest with you, because it's only about like 2 minutes and like 30 seconds or something. But I really wish that it they'd added like a bit more to it, because it is a fantastic song. Then I have Picasso's Last Words, which is a really interesting piece. The story behind this one though is like as Paul was having dinner with the actor Dustin Hoffman, and like he pulled out this article and said, "Paul, write a song about this. If you can write a song about anything, write about this article here, which was covering like the death of Pablo Picasso." And late that evening, like Paul started writing this song, and I really love it actually. It goes through different sections again, so like there's like sort of like the folky like introduction to it, and then there's sort of bits with like clarinets and then strings going on. Like it's a very complex piece, and really interesting. The album then closes with arguably my favourite song from the album, 1985, and just so many great things with this song here. I love I love like the piano riff, that it's fantastic. And then lyrics on this one though, they don't make much sense, but I like them though for some reason. Like I don't really know why, but it's just the whole composition of the song is absolutely fantastic. and like that kind of, because a great way to end the album. Sort of similar, I find, to like A Day in the Life on Sgt. Pepper, that all builds up to like a climax, and so like both songs perform like a sort of like a similar function, like to really like have like a huge sort of like like climax to like, the album, and that just make you go wow, like after like you heard it, and like this song certainly does that. It's just fantastic. So that is this album gone over here. Now I would have to give this a 10 out of 10. I mean, I know like a lot of like McCartney fans, that this isn't like the favourite album, but like it is hard for like anyone to admit that this is like not his best work, because I certainly think it is his best work. It's like as far as being like my favourite album by Paul, like I say it is now because I've been listening to it a lot because I've been preparing to do like this review of it and like everything. But like but some days with Paul, like my favourite album is like Ram, then it's like it was new like a while ago actually. So that does change, but I think I always think that this is like definitely like his best album, like in terms of consistency, that song quality, and like just like everything that take like into consideration. This is really, really great. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please like it, subscribe, and leave a message below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.